share the screen and get directly to the point. My most heartfelt thanks, Mr. President, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Farhad Jamal, Mr. Anand Dalal, for inviting me to address this August gathering. And I also want to thank Mr. Pranay Vakil for performing the introductions. I'm delighted to be here. Through the story of my life, I would like to tell you that we can come through it no matter what. Let me give you an executive summary of what has gone on in my life. I've had 4 episodes of cancer. In addition to, I had 2 biopsies where there was no cancer. So totally 6 biopsies, overall 14 surgeries. I have been almost blind twice. And as Farhat mentioned, I have gone through 5 corneal transplants. So when somebody donates eyes, it helps people like me to see. I've had 2 surgeries for glaucoma and I've lost count of the number of laser surgeries that I've had. I've undergone a cardiac bypass. I battle diabetes and temptation on a daily basis because I am a Gujarati with a sweet tooth. And sometimes what happens is that, I don't know if this happens to you, but it happens to me that, if I happen to be at one of these live counters, which is, making jalebis on the spot, which, people like Farhad Jamal used to tempt diabetics like me. These jalebis start singing to me. Here's the song that they sing to me. चीनी कम है थोड़ी थोड़ी तुझ में है कम है कम. So the moment I see the jalebis, my sugar starts running down. Salt is an enemy because of hypertension. Sugar is an enemy because of diabetes. Oil is an enemy because of cholesterol. Water is an enemy because they don't want me to load up my heart with too much water. And sometimes air is an enemy because I go all breathless. The grammar behind being alive and well is that I'm taking 12 kinds of pills 3 times a day, 4 shots of insulin, and 3 kinds of eye drops 3 times a day. But life is not just what happens to you. It is what you do with what happens to you, right? So there is COVID, and there is the way COVID is treating us. But how are we treating COVID is the question. Now, will you break or will you stretch? The song that follows kind of signifies my philosophy of life.
मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया हर फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ाता चला गया.
He goes on to sing, बर्बादियों का सोग मनाना फजूल था, बर्बादियों का जश्न मनाता चला गया. I'm going to tell you later that I've written a book on my life called Cancer Mount. And an alternative title that I had for it was A Picnic in the Intensive Care. Want you to notice this picture. This is the last time that I was in intensive care because my potassium level had gone up perilously. I was otherwise perfectly fine. And they made the mistake of leaving behind my phone with me. So then I was taking selfies and informing my friends and generally having a good time. The one thing that I want you to notice, and the one thing that I do take credit for, is that the man behind the mask is smiling. You know, if people get cancer, they get treated. Nothing very special about that, right? Because you have to save your life. I mean, I had cancer 4 times. I took whatever treatment was necessary to prolong my life. But to go through it smilingly, to go through it joyfully, is where I do take an iota of credit. And how have I coped? You know, how do I continue to smile through all of this? The fundamental principle is that I have complete faith in the Paramatma. It's unwavering. No matter what he sends my way, I do know one thing, that he will take me through what he sends. You know, he takes us through whatever he sends to us, whether we believe in him or not. But if we believe in him, it makes this process a lot easier. Why? Because we say, okay, fine. You brought me to it. I know you're going to take me through it. I make my effort. Of course, to win a lottery, I got to buy my lottery ticket, right? So I do put in my effort first. God puts in the rest. I very strongly and always believe this. And this means that you embrace whatever happens to you. I mean, the 4th time that I had cancer, I said, okay, one more prasad. So you accept whatever happens to you and then still do your best. You do not use what happens to you as an excuse not to do what you are supposed to do in life. I have taken a policy decision to be happy no matter what. I want my life to be an exclamation mark, not a full stop. मुझे दुख है, मगर मैं दुखी नहीं हूं. दुखी होना is a choice. मैंने सुखी होने का choice. This is a book that I've written and a song that I absolutely सभी है भीड़ में, तुम ही निकल सको तो चलो. One of the other things that I have done is that I have done what I love. When I entered the learning and development profession way back in 1976, there were 2 other trainers in the entire country. My father worked for ACC Limited. He says, in my 30 years with ACC Limited, which is a name brand company, I have never been sent for training. Who is going to give you work? But I persisted. So I have done what I love. And you know, Farhat mentioned these 2 awards. They came in the same year, and both are lying in my showcase, one beside the other. I happened to be sitting beside, I happened to be sitting looking at them. And I said, oh, in spite of the cancers, I still got the Lifetime Achievement Award. And then I immediately corrected myself. I said, no, it's not in spite of, it's because of. Cancer taught me to value life. And really, my friends, you don't need to have cancer to value life. We must value what we've been given and make and ration out and invest every minute. I've gone through most of this without my family. I live alone, okay? Because my family lives in the United States and I've let my green card lapse. But whoever is with you is your family. I have no shortage of family, believe me. The gods have always smiled. They've sent people into my life, and I'm going to introduce you to just 2. Can you imagine a Hungarian engine driver? When my problems first started, It was in the 70s, and I was in Ahmedabad and studying in Baroda. I grew up in Ahmedabad. I grew up in Mumbai as well, in Nana Chowk. And what would a Hungarian engine driver have anything to do with a boy in Ahmedabad going blind? The Hungarian engine driver had the dream to become a doctor. He saved up enough money, became a doctor, decided to specialize in ophthalmology, immigrated to the United States to this godforsaken town called Amarillo. I think he's the principal attraction of that town. And then he had this love for India because we use so many railway gauges. He was present at almost every eye doctor's conference in the country at that time. One of them was held in Ahmedabad. I went and showed my eyes to him. I'd already had one transplant, it had not worked. He said, come to me in Amarillo, Texas. I will do another corneal transplant. I am very sure that your vision will come back. Ab kahan Hungary, kahan main? I didn't have the money to go, quite frankly. And I didn't have the $8,000 which were needed for the surgery. To the left of your screen, you see Dr. Ashok Mehta. I'm going to come to him in a minute. Enablers have entered my life in the dozens. They are also in your life. God doesn't come personally. God sends good people. I'm right now in Bangalore. I came here in March. I have not dared to go back because of my medical history. I'm a disaster waiting to happen if COVID happens to me. I rented this place long ago, 3 years ago, because I keep coming to Bangalore very often. And I entered this apartment the first time I was renting a place. I loved it. I loved the vibes. I said, fine, I want it. Who do you think my next door neighbor is? A cancer surgeon. This is what in Bombay language we call setting. भगवान ने बहुत सारे setting मेरे लिए किए हुए. And so no matter what my problem, someone has been put in place to help me solve it. So my book begins with this interesting sentence. I don't believe in miracles. I depend on them. Anyway, by 1983, I was almost blind, and that's when I ran into Dr. John Alpar, like I told you. As I told you, I didn't have the money to go to the United States and get a surgery done. And that's when Rotary International stepped in. Now, those of you that are experienced Rotarians, I have stopped sharing my screen. One moment, please. Let me get that back. Can you see it, please? So,
yes, it's visible.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, how does Rotary International come in? Remember, I needed to go to the United States. I didn't have the money. Well, there was an advertisement for the group study exchange program. Now, there is this nonsense that floats around that unless you know somebody, you can't get elected or you can't get selected. And my own case is a case in point that that is not true at all, because I got selected. And I knew nobody. I didn't know a single Rotarian at that point. So there I was, all ready to go to the United States. I still did not have the money for the surgery. What happens next? Well, I had a gland come out. Between the selection and the departure was 2 months of time. And I had a gland come out, and a biopsy was done. The Baroda histopathologist said, it's nothing at all, don't worry. But they also sent the blocks to Tata Memorial Hospital in Mumbai. they said that this is Hodgkin's disease, lymphocytic predominant. So on the one hand, I had a modicum of an opportunity to get my eye surgery done, and cancer crops up. And normally what happens is that you drop everything and take treatment for cancer. So in this situation, what would you have done? Well, much before that, some 30 years before that, my family had gone to Mount Abu for a vacation, and they had run into another family from Mumbai, Palanpuri Jains, and all of you know what Palanpuri Jains are famous for, the diamond trade. Well, along with them, there was a schoolboy who had decided, I'm going to become a doctor. Not only did he become a doctor, he specialized in surgery. Not only did he become a surgeon, he specialized in oncosurgery. So Dr. Ashok Mehta was already in my life. Now, please tell me, how many people have we met? We've gone on vacation, we've exchanged addresses, we've exchanged phone calls, phone numbers. We've not kept up. My family and Dr. Ashok Mehta's family kept up with each other for a very, very long time. My sisters would tie him a rakhi. He took my wedding pictures. So when this happened, and he was, the head of department at Tata Memorial, we went to him. He reassured my parents that your son is going to live longer than you guys. He's not going to die. Hodgkin's disease can be controlled. Please don't worry. It's a very slow growing disease. On top of it, he was a Rotarian, and he had group study exchange students in his home. I mean, can you bat on a wicket better than this? So I shared with him my predicament. I had an opportunity to go to the USA and maybe undergo surgery there. And I dared to ask him, and I never do not ask. Okay, I always ask. So I dared to ask him, is it possible that I come back and take the treatment? If you let me, I would like to go first and take this opportunity to get my eyes fixed. He said, normally you would have to undergo a staging laparotomy. Now that is the surgery that they used to do, where they would start cutting you open from here all the way down to the pelvis. Physically, they just open it out and see what is right, what is wrong, remove whatever is wrong, remove the spleen anyway, and stitch you up again, 4 months of bed rest. So either which way, I was not going to win. But technology intervened. 1984 was the year when the CAT scan came. There was only one machine in India, Nanavati Hospital, opposite the Juhu Aerodrome. But there was a 6-month queue. I said, Ashok bhai, what is the requirement? He says, you just go there fasting. But there is no point in going because I know that there is a 6-month queue. I said, fine, okay. But he says, if you get me the CAT scan results, I can tell you whether I'll let you go or not. They opened at 9 o'clock. At 8:45, I was there. The 9 o'clock patient did not turn up. The same thing happened for my GAC selection. I was a standby candidate. But somehow, call it black magic, call it whatever you want, the candidate himself didn't turn up and I got selected for the group study exchange. So you need to prove that you are serious and you mean business. God puts in the rest. Well, my CAT scan showed that the disease had not spread, and I was allowed to leave. And I had to promise that I would be back in 2 months to take the treatment. I took a risk because the disease could have galloped. it could have spread very quickly. Fortunately for me, it didn't. Okay. You have to try, my friends. I've seen this in my life. I've learned this in my life. That's why it's my fifth principle. Exercise your right to try. Prove that you are serious and keep doing it till you succeed. Uh, well, there I was on the group study exchange program, which is, by itself, if you've not been on it, sorry, you're a Rotarian, you can't do it. But what a wonderful program that can take a presentation by itself. And I, landed up there. By that time, I was reading with a magnifier like this. So I would hold the reading material like this and put a magnifier here and read this close. One of the families that I had the privilege of staying with, who had not known me from Adam, John and Eloise Turrell, saw me read like that, and they said, I was staying with them, obviously, and they said, why do you read like this? I told them what the problem was. They said, we have a wonderful eye doctor here in town, a small town, Mount Vernon, Southern Illinois, 150,000 population, had a Dr. Meenakshi Desai as their ophthalmologist. Setting, Dr. Meenakshi Desai's father and my father both were in Ahmedabad, and they used to play cards at the Sports Club of Gujarat. I had never met her before. I went and met her there. She says, you do a corneal transplant, you'll come out of it. But I don't do corneal transplants. I mentioned Dr. John Elpar. She says, he's a wonderful doctor. I said, Meenakshi, when I don't have the money. She says, you come up to here, have faith. I said, okay, I can have faith. Anyway, I'd come here on faith, right? Gone to the United States on faith. Well, God bless their souls. These two people put together a Parimal Gandhi corneal transplant fund. This is the first example of crowdsourcing that I have seen. Somebody gave $50, somebody gave 100, someone gave 500. They collected $8,000 and gave them to me and said, go back with your vision restored. This is the power of an individual Rotarian. Many a times fellowship is very important. And I heard some of you saying you miss your fellowship. I miss my fellowship too. I primarily go to the club meeting to meet my buddies. But this is another side of Rotary. I'm not saying give up fellowship, but take on a cause that you love, because it can make a difference to somebody's life. Well, there I was in Amarillo. I underwent the corneal transplant. This is what it looks like. And I underwent another corneal transplant in 1989. And this one I could do on my own, because the first one put me on my feet. I could see very clearly due to that transplant. And I had two Americans living inside me. So I was like a walking United Nations, because the corneas were contributed by Americans. I had a new vision after the first transplant. The yellow pages in the United States and the size of the fonts. And I would read and count the number of Indians in the Dallas telephone directory just because I could do it. The carpet changed color. Women started looking prettier. I was telling my sister that I can count all the wrinkles on your face, and she would chase me around for saying it. Till you lose it, you have no idea what vision is worth. And so this became my Rotary eye, because the cornea had come with the good wishes of so many Rotarians. But another interesting thing happened after the surgery in Amarillo. The anesthesiologist came along with, of course, Dr. John Alpar. And guess who he was? Dr. Mahendra Patel of Baroda. He says, you are from Baroda, I am from Baroda, you are Gujarati, I am Gujarati, you are Indian, I am Indian. I can't charge you, so I'm foregoing my $1,000 fee. I said, look, Mahendra bhai, I have the money. The Rotarians have very kindly given me the money. You don't need to do this. He says, no, you have other needs for the money. And then he says, Dr. John Alpar is smiling away. And what he is not telling you is that he is not charging you either. Ladies and gentlemen of the Rotary, please tell me, why should anybody do this for me? John Terrell didn't know me at all. John Alpar didn't know me at all. Both of them said, we want you to take your treatment for cancer in the United States and go back with a new vision and go back cancer free. So you will need your $8,000 for that. I shopped around for some hospital that did not do a staging laparotomy. Found out that MD Anderson Cancer Center in the United States, in Houston, does it's called a lymphangiogram. They don't do a staging laparotomy. And so there I was in Houston, staying with a cousin with whom my family had lost touch, but with whom I had revived relationships when I went to Baroda. So I'll tell you, if there is God on earth, it is in the form of Dr. John Alpar, Uma Nagar, my cousin. Because today when I think back, I would not have had myself in my home for 9 months undergoing cancer treatment, undergoing chemotherapy, undergoing radiation, if I had 3 kids, 2 sisters and 1 husband staying with me. And if I was running a dancing class and worked in an architectural firm full time. That's what Uma Ben did. And yet she had me in her home for 9 months. Well, I took chemotherapy. It is poison because it kills normal and cancerous cells, but the cancer cells don't grow back. The normal cells do. Hence the loss of hair, and my hair has come back. And I underwent radiation. It was in this room that I made a number of decisions. I decided to travel. I decided to sing, and I decided to take up training as a full-time profession. So for about 10 minutes, you are all alone in this room. And I really invested this time very well. The decisions that I made in that room, I'm living out even today. I wanted to travel, like I told you, on my way back, I wanted to go through Europe on the Ural Pass. I wanted to go to the United States. I had a Visit USA ticket with 12 coupons. So, and a huge network of cousins and friends. So traveling the US was not a problem, but I didn't have the money to go to Europe. Ended up in Las Vegas. My cousin gave me $50 to lose. She says, I don't want the money back, but I brought you to Las Vegas. You cannot not gamble. So I converted the $50 into nickels, 5-cent pieces. I put in the first nickel and got a jackpot of $800. $800. The first nickel. I came out of that with $850. I immediately stopped gambling. There was my Europe vacation. So I did the Golden Gate Bridge. I did the Eiffel Tower. Traveled through Europe on the Ural. I never stayed in a hotel. Sorry, Farhat. Didn't stay in a hotel at all. I stayed on the train all nights and took the flight back to India. Came back, established myself as a trainer. These are some of my clients. The Taj has been one of my major clients, but I've also worked with the Leela and the Oberoi. Bombay has been a wonderful Karma Bhumi for me. I've worked with the Tata Group. I've worked with the entire HDFC Group, all the companies. In the case of many of the companies, the first training was conducted by me. And I worked with the pharma companies. I worked with Johnson & Johnson, Unilever, um, any large company, and we've gone and conducted training there. Primarily because the cancer has taught me to mean what I say and say what I mean. Your life purpose is the ship that can take you through every storm. And Rotary can give our life purpose. I have been going from district to district. I've spoken to the Rotary district in Mangalore, the Rotary district in Orissa, of course, the Rotary district in Gujarat. And I've been sharing this message with them. In fact, I have a request for you that if you have any connections, if any of you has any connections with any group of cancer patients, I would love to deliver this presentation to them. I have tried to make my life worth living, and I have tried to make myself worth keeping alive. I'm sure God is looking down and wondering, ab isko rakhe ya nikale? In Bombay, we always say, somebody, the suburban train empties or the bus empties and somebody stops in the way. We say, Rasta de. So God keeps me alive because maybe I'm worth keeping alive. I'm contributing. I'm adding value. I traveled all over the world. My profession and my clients were kind enough to budget me that I've traveled from Hawaii to Australia and all manner of places in between. I've been to Machu Picchu and the Iguazu Falls. I've been to practically every state worth going to in the United States. So I've indulged in travel, I've indulged in music, I've indulged in photography, which is my third hobby. My son decided not to follow me in the learning and development profession. That's his privilege. But I took a decision. I said, you have personal children and you can have professional children, which is why the 1,500 trainers that I've trained, I very freely share my materials and methods and help people to, enter the learning and development profession. There are 1.3 billion people to be trained. We need millions of trainers. Navigated many a storm, as you can well imagine, by a very interesting settings. I ran into President Vicente Fox of Mexico. I was conducting training in his office without realizing it. And he invited my partner. My partner is Dr. Kshama Bhatia. She's here. And he invited us to move to Mexico. We said, sorry, we can't do that. We have commitments in India. But we started the Academy of Human Excellence, which is my company in Mexico as well. He is our business partner there. I've tried to understand why this has happened to me. And I believe that I'm paying off my karmic debt. I'm not a smoker and I don't work on a chemical plant shop floor. So I think in my past lives, I must have been up to a lot of mischief, which has warranted my coming into this life and going through what I've gone through. But at the same time, I'm 100% sure that I must have done a lot of good things because so many good people have popped out of nowhere to help me. I have a sense of humor. I've kept it alive and well. On the 8th of October, and I'm reaching a conclusion here, on the 8th of October 2018, I had my second biopsy, which turned out to be benign, but there were glands in my armpit. And so the doctor called me in at 9 in the morning and he says, we'll take you in for surgery at 10 after you settle down. So they gave me a room and an attendant came and gave me the hospital uniform to wear. I put it on, the shirt was fine, and then I started to put on the lower garment, and I find that both my legs were together. And I said, how come such a broad pajama? It wasn't a pajama, it was a petticoat. So I came out wearing the petticoat and I told the attendant, I said, is this also for men in this hospital? He says, oh, sir, sorry, sir. Ran out, got me a pajama, changed into that. They took me to the operation outside the room, outside the operation theater. I was lying there, and then the doctor comes out and he says, Parimal bhai, are you ready for the surgery? I said, absolutely, but one question I have. Says, what? I said, what surgery are you going to do on me today? He says, why? We are removing 3 glands from your left armpit. I said, great, let's go. He said, no, but why did you ask me? I said, your people gave me a petticoat to wear, so I was worried about what you'll take off once I'm under anesthesia. He says, no, don't worry. I've promised not to go below your waist. But we need to keep our sense of humor alive. Only that is one of the things that has allowed me to go through my life. Now, I really don't know how all this is going to end. I want to play you 2 more lines of a song. Anyway, this is this beautiful song. Our own Anushka is sitting reversed on a buffalo and singing GRA, GRA, maine GRA, GRA. So I don't know how all this is going to end, but I'm going to make it a happy ending. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Parimal. Thank you so very much. That was extremely inspirational. What an unbelievable journey of life.
Unbelievable.
Fellow Rotarians, open it up to questions now. I'm sure Parimal will take as many questions as you throw at him. Would anyone like to take the first one?
Me, Fali.
Please go ahead, Purshan.
Hi, how are you?
I want to know, what was your feeling like when you first started to see clearly after all these years? What were the emotions that were going through you when you started looking at things for the first time in a very clean and clear manner? What were you going through?
You know, I was at my sister's home in Dallas, and I remember when I first removed that eye guard, I happened to be looking at the carpet, and I asked her. I said, "Have you changed the carpet while I was in Amarillo?" She said, "No." I said, "Have you had it shampooed?" She says, "No." All the colors changed. All the colors changed. And I was flabbergasted because, you know, this is like a creeping acquisition. So the eye, the cornea slowly starts deteriorating and you don't even realize. It's like a cataract, right? And then once the cataract is removed and you get the new lens inside, you are shocked at what you were missing. This has happened to me twice. Second time, Narayan Netralaya, Bangalore. Dr. Himanshu Matalia did a corneal transplant. The next morning he opens takes off the bandage. I could read all 6 lines on the second day. I mean, I got so lucky, I'm telling you. I wasn't so lucky with the second transplant. But this is my Rotary eye. I mean, can't go wrong with it.
God bless.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
May I ask a question, President Fali?
Hi, Ravi.
Yes, please, sir.
Parimal bhai, God bless you. Do you pray to God?
All the time. All the time. I'm a great believer of Lord Shiva, but I will very happily walk into a church or a mosque and, think of God there. In Mexico, I used to go to churches and pray. And, I pray. Yes, absolutely.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Happy to see you in an old, a place where I've done a lot of training, the Lake Palace Hotel. Yes.
As you said, in life, either we can stretch it or give in. I have decided to challenge Corona and stretch it, so I'm on a vacation.
Wonderful, wonderful. You won't get anything at Lake Palace but joy.
Yes, Pranay, go ahead, please.
Parimal bhai, I'm so proud.
Hi,
Hi, how are you doing? Parimal
I am
bhai,
very well. Great to see you and Shweta.
yeah. Well, it is so inspiring that I'm out of words for it. And we really, I think your life is an example for many people. So keep going this way and keep inspiring us. Thank you very much, Parimal bhai.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for bringing me to your club.
Thank you.
Nirav, go ahead, Nirav. Farhad, you're next.
Yeah, Parimal bhai, I'm Rotarian Nirav Shah, and thank you for mentioning the group study exchange, which is part of the Rotary Foundation TRA program. I work for the Rotary Foundation since the last 10 years, and I too also have found my passion just like you in the Rotary Foundation. But thank you for such an inspiring talk, and if you can have your email given to us, and I can connect, we can connect through various Rotary clubs, and also we are going to have a governor, namely DG and Sandeep Agarwala after 43 years from our club. So it would be very inspiring for you to talk to a larger audience of maybe 1,000. I will approach you, sir, Parimal bhai, and thank you for a very inspiring talk. One of the happiest, best talks I've heard in my 20 years in Rotary is yours today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I will be honored to speak to, the district in Bombay. I know that it's a very vibrant district. And, my compliments to you folks that you're going to have a district governor from your very august club. I've heard so much about your club.
The Rotary Club of Bombay, sir, is the #1 club in the world, highest giver in the world, among the top 3. This club, our club, to the Rotary Foundation. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Farhad, please go ahead.
Yeah. Parimal, you've conducted so many sessions for a bunch of audience. Can you share with us one particular session of one particular group that you actually spent time with that had its challenges and that has some impacts, was interesting, something that you remember from that particular group?
Let me take you back to your old stamping ground, the president, the Taj President Mumbai. Sure. Working with frontliners, the waiters, the housekeepers, the stewards, the security guards, the front office people, and the maintenance people who face the customer day in and day out, customers who are under tremendous stress, and it's their job to calm them down. I mean, working with them was a privilege, and seeing them translate what you were doing. And I want to give you a very quick example. From the Thai Pavilion, which according to me is the finest restaurant that I have been to, and there is a steward there by the name of John. I happen to be, because of so much travel, my tummy is a little weak, so I drink mineral water. And so I asked for mineral water. I was served mineral water. Then somebody, I drank the water, somebody else came along and poured water from a jug. My colleague that was sitting beside me said, watch out, she's given you regular water. Now, I didn't complain. I had nothing to say. Regular water is also filtered. I know that. So I was fine. Along comes John, without my having said a word, takes away that glass, gives me another glass, pours in mineral water and says, Mr. Gandhi, I have told that lady not to give you regular water. It's a privilege to train people who want to learn what you are saying and translate it into action. I was on a Jet Airways flight. I mean, I can give you unending stories on customer service, great customer service. Jet Airways flight, just a very quick one. So as the tray was given to me for my food, I injected insulin. The stewardess takes away the dessert from my tray without saying anything and makes off with it. I knew what she'd done, but I called her back. I said, what did you just do? I said, I saw you injecting insulin. My father is diabetic. You are diabetic. I'm not going to let you have dessert because I would not let him have dessert. It is a privilege to work with people and help them to bring out their best. Thank you, Farhad, for that great question.
Amazing. Satya, please.
Yeah. Parimalji, you mentioned, in fact, first
Yes.
of all, it's very inspiring to listen to you. I'm really, really privileged to listen to you today. You mentioned that you live alone without your family. I want to know, you are coping very well. How does your family cope without you?
You know, when I first had cancer, the word cancer was considered equivalent to cancel. So I didn't expect to live. So I, thought maybe 4 or 5 years more. 3 months ago, my grandson was born. And so I'm a proud grandfather. And we are on WhatsApp every day for an hour, the whole family, watching this little one's antics. I have been to the United States 40 times. I mean, life has stretched me, but I have also stretched myself. So I'm with my family. We are together in spirit. We are together physically whenever possible. And that's how it is. But like I said, whoever is in my life today, you are my family.
Would anyone else like to ask a question? Very well. I think you fascinated everybody today. Satyan, may I
Yes.
please request you to give the vote of thanks?
Yes, with pleasure. Parimalji, what a remarkable and inspiring journey you have been through. You are the epitome of the never say die attitude. Forget Iron Man and Superman, you are the real superhero. And we are truly humbled today listening to you. Your message of positivity is an essential diet for all of us. And we are so happy and proud to see how Rotary also has been a catalyst in your journey. Parimalji, as a token of our appreciation for the afternoon spent with us, we will on your behalf light up a rural household using solar power. We will send you the certificate in due course. Members, please note that the next meeting will be an e-meeting on Zoom on the 8th of September at 12 noon, when the speaker will be Mr. Nitish Jain, philanthropist, educationist, and president of the SP Jain School of Global Management, who will address us on how technology is driving the future of education. Statistics for today, we had a maximum participation of 80. The meeting is now closed. Thank you.
All right, everyone can unmute yourselves and have at least a 10-minute fellowship. Satyan, please hold on. Don't.
Thank you.
That was really an amazing, amazing rendition.
Ravi?
Parimal Bhai was
Thank you,
fantastic.
Hey, hi, how are you?
How are you?
Thank you, Preeti
Good
Ben.
to see you,
Thanks,
Preeti.
Ravi.
Hey,
Ravi, good to
Parimal.
see you.
Yeah.
In fact, the president was calling you all the time Parimal Gandhi.
That's all right.
So,
That's
Parimal Gandhi.
perfectly fine. A lot of people do it.
Mr. Gandhi, I'd like to tell you one thing, is
Yes.
that you taught me that in life I will never complain, for sure. After hearing your
Thank you.
story,
Yeah.
none of us can afford to complain.
Thank you,
That's true.
Purnima Ben. Thank
That's
you,
true.
Purnima
That's
Ben.
absolutely true. That's
Hi,
absolutely
Neetam.
true. No one can afford to
so Ravi,
complain.
you've taken over.
Ritu, I hope you heard that.
Yes,
Miss
I
Adira
have.
Merchant, it's great to see you in person.
Oh,
I've
how
only heard
wonderful.
your name so far, but delighted to see you in person. Really.
You're truly an inspiration. I'm going to buy your book right away.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm going to buy it also. Very good.
you.
Hi, Ravi. I didn't know you're in our Rotary.
Hi.
Fali,
Yes.
Fali, we have Fali. Ravi is the president of the Rotary Club in Bangalore.
Oh, Bangalore.
Hi.
Bangalore. Welcome, Ravi. Welcome.
Hi, pleasure.
Parimalji, is it possible to
Yeah.
put your book link, Amazon link on the
We've been
chat?
friends for a very long.
I don't have it ready, but can you give them my phone number and my email ID, please?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
whoever has,
Satyan,
I'll send it to.
Sure,
Satyan, will you have
I'll send them.
recorded this?
Yes, it's a recorded meeting.
So can we?
I'll share the recording after the meeting with
Yeah,
everyone.
because I'd love to make a lot of people in my family and friends hear it.
Most definitely. We'll send it to everyone.
Yeah.
Hi, Satya. See you. Long time. Satya.
Yes. Hi, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I'm stuck in Singapore for last 5.5 months.
Oh, okay.
Waiting for my flights to resume.
Okay. Let's hope we see you soon.
Yes.
How is Singapore?
Singapore is doing fine, actually. Reasonably open. I mean, apart from, I think, the bars and cinema halls, everything is open. But I mean, still, there's hardly any people going to office. Everyone is still operating from home. I have been to my office only about 6 times in the last 6 months, 5 months.
Right. You're waiting to come home now. Good.
Yeah, they don't get me into the flight also, because I think next month there is only one flight and there are about 20,000 people eyeing for that flight.
Ramrose, can I say a couple of words?
Please do.
Yeah, I just sent you a chat. I'm not putting on video because I was doing my exercise. So
I don't think we have your name here. You can only see iPhone.
Sorry? Yeah.
You'll have to give everyone your name.
Well, I'm SK Mitra, Subrata Mitra.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. What I said is that this year's the gift, token gift for the speakers is truly noble. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, please. Carry on.
Because, we have been planting trees, etc., which is also good. But the thing is, I have asked many times, can we go and have a look at the trees? In fact, I was at the Calcutta main Rotary Club a few times. And I was traveling around Bengal and I saw trees planted by them in various places. And when I came, then after that meeting, they're organizing a trip saying that we are planting trees and we are writing the names of the people whose name the trees are being planted on the bud. We will take a trip to that places and we'll lay my name. I thought that's a fantastic show. So my problem is that trees do not survive much. 10% survive. That's my experience. But this lighting a rural house is something phenomenal. That's such a important and noble cause. And I have requested that we should arrange a trip or at least visiting some of these houses where we are putting solar light. Thank you.
Certainly, SK, let me tell you that this has been going on since last year. Preeti definitely was the inspiration behind this. And once we open up, lockdown is lifted completely and we can get to the rural households, we can definitely visit them and see what we've done.
That will make a big impact on all of us, and we'll be very happy to contribute even otherwise.
Sure.
Yeah? And I hope if there's a trip to the trees, I'll be very happy to join because I'm a regular traveler all over the place. Thank you.
Righto.
I think that's a fantastic idea, and we'll borrow it in Bangalore Midtown as well.
Yeah, actually, Ravi, it is really good. I will check with the organization with whom we are partnering if they can recommend somebody closer to your place, and we will be in touch on that. It's something which is really worth doing.
So something you initiated, is it, Preeti?
Yes, that's what.
Fantastic.
I would like to add then that it is quite unusual. A new president continues the old president's good work, and that I've seen in every place, from the chambers to various associations. So that gives credit to both of you, both Preeti for starting this and Pramrose for continuing. That's fantastic.
Yeah, this is the metas, you see. After all, one meta to another.
This is fantastic.
Pramrose bhai, I've just put the link in the chat.
Yes.
The link to the book.
Thank you so much. We will definitely make sure that it's passed on to everyone. Satyan, have you seen the link that Parimal has put up?
Yes, it's there, I think.
The Irani can send it
It
to
is
us.
there. It's there. We all can see that in chat.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope everyone has a nice lunch.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
once
Thank you.
again.
Thanks,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks all. Thank you,
Parimal
Parimal ji.
bhai. Nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Parimal Bhai. Outstanding
Thank
talk.
you.
Thank you.
Bye, Neerav bhai. Thank you. Thank you.
Outstanding
Thank
talk.
you.
Thank you.
You're now based in Bangalore, sir, or Baroda now?
Well, I'm in both places. I used to be 15 days here and 15 days there. And so I don't know when I can resume that pattern. But
I will touch base with you through Satyan and President Pali. Yes.
sure, sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neerav bhai. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Lovely afternoon.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye and bye, Rumi.
Bye, Fali.
Bye. Bye, sir. Satyan, will you do the honors?
Sure. Nobody here to protest, no?
Nope.
All right. Hi, Doc.